Hi, you guys. I am Danielle, and this is Authentically Danielle. Thank you for coming to my channel. And we're going to get right into the message today. We're not going to play no games. So, the first thing I want to say is this: when someone shows you who they are, you need to believe them. Okay? I don't care if they're showing you the best part of them or the worst part of them. You need to believe them. Okay? Now, I'm not saying when you first meet someone and they're nice to you, you believe that they're just a nice person. No, that's not the way it works. Because when you meet someone for the first time, everyone is always pretty pleasant, usually for the first time. I mean, obviously, there's people that aren't pleasant. I've definitely met some. But majority of the times, people put on a good game face, especially when you meet someone for the first time as a friend, on a date, or when you meet your coworkers for the first time, or a manager. And I really want to talk about this a little deeper because personally, I was at a job last year that I had taken, and I was so excited about this job. Like, I went interviewing and everybody was so nice. When I went to the interview, I put my game face on. I knew that this job wasn't for me, but I kept moving forward anyway, being disobedient. And the first place that I knew, because it wasn't because the job wasn't, it was a bad interview. First off, I was late to the interview, and I was like, fuck, I'm late to the interview. Sometimes we don't look at that as a first step, and we just think, oh, I'm late to the interview, I'm still going to push past it. And I did. I was like, I'm not going to give up because, I keep running into obstacles to get into this interview. I'm going to go. So I get to the interview, I go. I have to wait a couple hours to get seen for the interview, but I ended up staying and I got interviewed. They hired me on the spot. And then they told me at the interview I was hired. And then the second thing was the pay. So the pay was nowhere near what my worth was and my experience and my skills that I offered and brought to the table. So I was like, okay. However, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. No big deal. And I just kept going past that. The third thing was I met the manager, and the manager was nice at first. Things started unfolding more and more. She kept on reaching out to me, just nitpicking with me. I was the only black girl on the team. And I'm not saying it's about race, but I mean, I start to realize things she was doing that was like kind of targeting me more than she would to anybody else. Matter of fact, she wasn't doing it to anybody else but me. And so she would just like accuse me, like I was late to a meeting, and they had us. I didn't apply for a customer service job, but they ended up changing the position in the midst of our training. We had a meeting for our team. I showed up to the meeting late because I was taking care of a customer, and the call got escalated, and she kind of like started coming at me sideways, talking about I am lying, I was never on an escalated call, that I was making up things, and I was just trying not to come to the meeting. And I'm like, why would I do that? Like, who wants to be on a call with the angry customer? I don't know who it is who would want to, but let me know if you know. Anywho, she just kept doing certain things to cause conflict with me. And that's why I said microaggressions played a part. She kept showing me who she was, what type of person she was, and I kept making excuses. Even the job and the management team kept showing me and the other girls that authentic and integrity. And, we stayed there. So I got to the point where I had to start listening to myself and my intuition. I was like, I got to get out of this position. I'm not happy at this job. And the only thing that was good is the benefits were good and it was remote. And so I did like that. But all the other stuff was chaotic. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because when God shows you, and your gut and your discernment is telling you that this is not the right position, or this is how they are here, or this is how this person is, they show you the behaviors. When he shows you this, don't doubt it. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop doubting yourself every time your intuition Or God keeps showing you this person that's making the same mistakes, has a cycle, a pattern behavior that is negative, or are showing you little things like, maybe mentally, emotionally abusive, or controlling, or codependent, just a lot of toxic behaviors. When God shows you something, believe him the first time. When that person shows you who they are, believe it. Don't doubt it. Don't second guess yourself and say, I'm crazy. I know our minds has a way to take over and make us feel like, you're crazy. Because we are so used to people that have spoken into our life since we were children, gaslighting us, making us feel like we're crazy, even when these people are showing us these behaviors, or this environment is unsafe or unhealthy, but we stayed in them because these people may have made us feel like you're crazy if you do this. Something's wrong with you. You're a liar. This is your fault. And so we play these things out as we get older, as adults, when we go to these work environments or get into these certain relationships, whether friendships or romantic, and God shows you their behavior. He shows you who they are, what type of friend that person is when they didn't show up to your wedding, or they didn't show up to your graduation, or they didn't say congratulations on your new job. And every time they have something, you're always cheering them on. You're always like, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm your biggest fan. But when it's you, they show you that behavior that you're doubting, and that makes your mind is making you feel confused about, because you're thinking in yourself, it couldn't be me, I'm tripping, I'm making this bigger than what it is. It's not that deep. Yes, it is that deep. And when you see these behaviors, and when God shows you these things, believe it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting your discernment. You are right. This past couple years, Spirit has been showing me someone in my life that very negative in my life, very toxic in my life, and I just kept doubting myself. I kept like, no, it can't, because I made a promise to myself years ago that this particular person, I want, regardless of what's going on, and what changes are made in my life, I want to keep this person in my life because I love this person. I care about this person. However, what I wasn't paying attention to is me making that promise to myself about this person was actually making me self-sacrifice me, my peace, my healthiness, my environment, because I made a promise. When this person was showing me behaviors over and over and over, from here, there, everywhere, who they were, but I kept on making excuses and doubting my discernment, doubting my just every which way God was trying to show me the message. I would literally scroll on my Instagram and there would be messages about a person being deceptive. There would be all kind of different things that just kept aligning to this same message that I felt in my spirit was now in the external showing up. And I was just like, no, this can't be. Maybe this is just a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. First off, this was real. It was showing up. God was showing this in my external because I wasn't listening to the internal side of me. And it just kept showing up. And I got to the point where I had to actually go to counseling and speak with my counselor about this and navigate through this situation and other situations. And she explained to me, of course you're not listening to yourself because you're so used to self-sacrificing for others. You're so used to ignoring your discernment that you're not it's second nature. And when she broke that down to me, I was like, wow, that's so freaking true. So what I'm saying is, your body will tell you when that person is wrong. You'll feel it in your body internally. You'll feel it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in all aspects, even sexually if it's a sexual partner. you will know. Listen to yourself. And when a person is showing you, or an environment is showing you, whatever's showing you who they are, and God is showing you who they are, believe it. Stop second guessing yourself. You're not crazy. I'm here to validate that for you. And I'm not saying that you're the perfect one in the relationship or everything's perfect with you, but you not believing that behavior is making you create cycles and lessons that you're supposed to ascend from, that you may be ready to ascend from, and you're not doing it because you're resisting what God is showing you. If you were ready to ascend, God wouldn't put you in those lessons and show you and tell you internally, this is who that person is. And this happens a lot to people that are in abusive relationships. I know my mother was in an abusive relationship, and I, as a child, was in an abusive relationship as well. Me and my sister, and my mother, which is why I didn't pay attention to certain behaviors, and I just was like, this is normal. And I didn't pay attention to the signs or like what God was showing me about certain people in my life that were toxic and abusive. And that can happen. And don't beat yourself up for that. Have grace for yourself. You may need to work with a counselor or someone, a mentor, or just do some shadow work where you can really start paying attention to, behaviors that people have, or behaviors you have that are toxic or that are dark, that you need to really transcend. There's nothing wrong with that. No one's perfect on this earth. Okay. No one's perfect. So work on that, because if you don't, you will repeat lessons and they will get worse. Life will get worse for you until you believe what you're seeing and what is being shown to you, and you start learning how to trust yourself. Okay? Now, I know this message is deep, and I hope that it resonates. I hope that, you're getting everything you need from this. And if you have any questions, or if you have any shared experiences that you've had in this, lesson and in this, about this topic, let me know. Feel free to share. And if you have any other questions, or if you want to hear any other topics or anything else we can talk about, let me know. I'll be happy to post a video about it and also hear your input. I'm building a community here. I'm AuthenticallyDanielle. I'm building a community that is authentic. And I'm just excited to have new friendships and relationships as well. If you want to hear more of my videos and be in the same algorithm as me and hear more messages like this, please feel free to subscribe, like, share this channel if you know someone that may need this message. Maybe you have a friend or someone that's going through something like this, or they can resonate with it, or they may need to hear it. Feel free to share, and thank you for joining, and I will see you next video. Bye.